Blackburn Rovers continue their unbeaten start to the Championship season after a squeaky bum win against Oxford United at Ewood Park. How did we pan out? We'll take a little look next. That's right, folks, back once again in another video. Today we're reviewing the game that was Blackburn Rovers against Oxford at Ewood Park, and we'll get to that in a second. If you know where you've been, smash your subscribe button. Your one-stop shop for Blackburn Rovers is right here under one rooski. At times it was a little bit squeaky bum time, but Rovers came out on top with the crucial victory in the end. And we'll talk about all of that and more in a second. A big shout out to the VIPs, the other patrons. You know who you are. And again, if you're new, smash your subscribe. Your one-stop shop for Rovers continues. But the amount of the main concern that has been following around this season is where the goals are going to come from. Well, today, that, of course, not has been answered, but we go a long way closer to answering all that. Let's take a look at that breakdown of the game in just a second. But before all that, before we jump into the video, something brand new to the channel. And what is it? It's the join button. That's right. We've gone there. Memberships. That's right. We've opened up the floodgates to members, so you can now join and support the channel in another way. We have our first member, so a big shout out to him. But you can also join that member and becoming an extra special member of the community. Just click on the join button, follow the on-screen instructions, and become part of the gang. All right then, folks, so there it is in all its glory. Rovers coming out on top with a 2-1 win over Oxford United at Ewood Park in a game that, it was quite split, as you can see by the possession. Oxford bossing possession, had quite a few attempts at goal as well, but Rovers finding the back of the net in the crucial times to salvage a monstrous win. Yes, let's not gloss over the fact of this win. It's a big win. It's a big win for us. We have been earmarked all over the place, up and down the country as a relegation candidate for this season. But today we kept the momentum rolling, made it back-to-back wins at Ewood Park, the first time in a long time. It's been quite a tricky. It's been quite tricky for us to get the results at Ewood Park the past couple of seasons, but slowly but surely Eustace has got it going. And let's not pull the wool over our eyes here. Oxford United, yes, they got promoted from League One, and yes, they got promoted via the playoffs. And if you turn the clock back, maybe 7 months ago, it doesn't look like they were going to be a championship side because they were outside the playoffs. But they're here, and they're here on merit. And they've been pretty savvy so far this season, beating Norwich, something we couldn't do, and they were a little bit hard done by to not get a draw against the Coventry City side at Coventry. So they came here and they gave us a scare, a big old scare as well. 44 minutes on the clock, just before halftime, it looked like Mark Harris with a wonder goal. They're going to be talking about it for years at the Kazam Stadium, but it was at Ewood Park. Absolute pearl of a goal, worthy of winning any game, worthy of winning any goal of the season tournament, and that will probably win goal of the season. But unfortunately, it didn't win the game for them. As we instant comeback from a man who's been starved of goals. You don't really look to him for goals, but JRC just before halftime. You thought that was close to halftime, 44 minutes, but guess what? This was a deep into injury time, and we got ourselves back into it, and that was massive. That was monumental. It gave us the mentals to go in at halftime. Let's just try a little bit harder, a little bit more determination, and maybe we'll get something more out of this game instead of a point. And it did. And we've got to give it credit where credit is due for the substitutions. John Eustace has been proven to be absolutely solid with this bench this season. It was only 3 games old, but we came out on top with Arnór Sigurðsson coming off the bench to score his first goal of the campaign, something he's lacked so far, and he's a high earner. He's in fact the highest earner, and we now need to see more of that, and hopefully that will be the catalyst for Sigurðsson, and maybe we'll get a handful more goals of him from that left-hand side. It was a pearler of a goal, a great way not only to equalise or anything like that, but that was well worthy of winning the game, and it was a cracking goal for Sigurðsson and for Rovers. But let's take a look then, shall we, at the breakdown here. 18 shots for Rovers compared to their 13, 6 off target apiece. Quite a lot of corners knocking around, 7 for Rovers, 5 for Oxford. And free kicks heavily in favour of the yellow side there. That is Oxford United. Let's take a look then at the starting lineup, starting with Rovers. Pairs between the sticks. I've got to give it some credit. He did make some really good saves, but he does make me feel uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie to you about that one. It's not pleasant at the back, but he was well worthy of some plaudits today, Anthony Perez. And don't get me wrong, he's a good keeper, but I think we can do better. I think we hopefully will do better this week, just to add some competition, because we don't have any on the bench. Pairs between the sticks, Dom Hyam, Carter looking solid together at the back there. No clean sheet yet thus far for the defence. Pickering and Britton working their socks off on the fullbacks. Lewis Travis, Tronstad proving to be quite solid together. Hard workers. They throw everything at it, don't they? Travis running up and down the field. Tronstad blocking left, right and centre. Absolutely fantastic. And Joe Rankin Costello proving his worth today. He's probably the player I would have omitted myself. But JRC proving to be he can score goals, and he did. So well on him. Hedges as well. Tyrese, and then Yukihashi got the start. But he was sub later on. Let's take a look at the opposition then, with Oxford coming between the sticks. Brown, Long, Bennett and Kioso at the back four there. Kioso was a handful all day. Then Will Foulkes with his long throws, a bit of a nightmare. Matt Phillips proved that the veteran has still got important season ahead for him. He proved to be the assist maker for the wonder goal for Mark Harris, who's only 25 years of age. Tyler Goodrum as well proved to be quite a handful. Meduzi as well, and Rodriguez in the mixer. No Brannigan, which was a blessing for us, I think. He's, of course, a good attribute of goals for Oxford usually. These were the subs. We did see the likes of Andrew Wyman coming on there, Sigurðsson as well, and Mac Gay proving to be, again, a very important player in the side. As for Oxford subs, for Greg Lee, Lewis Sibley, Plachetta, who was unfortunately subbed on and subbed off through injury, and Owen Dale, but couldn't break it down. Let's take a look at the man of the match ratings there. Now, I think officially the man of the match rating went to Joe Rank Costello. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know 100%. But there were some sevens out there for Callum Britton, Sondre Tronstad, Tyrese Dolan. As for Oxford there, man of the match, you would give it probably, yep, Tyler Goodrum on the left, Matt Phillips on the right, Mark Harris and Will Foulkes all chipping in with sevens. Peter Kioso as well. Let's take a look at it down the bottom of the graphic here. You can see where all the action took place. The goals right before halftime, and then pretty much towards the end of the match. Pass success rate, I believe we were 78% compared to the 82. We had more corners than they did. They had more possession than us, more aerial duels as well. So pretty, Oxford were very much in this game, well and truly. Take a look at the heat maps right here, right now. This is Rovers' heat map. Quite a lot of grass covered, as you see. A lot of possession in this lower third, but not as much as you'll see in a minute for Oxford. So when in possession, this seems to be the area more often than not where we were in possession. And again, we did boss their upper third here, or our attacking third, a fair bit. So we did cover a lot of grass over here on this left-hand side of the box. As for Oxford, as you can see, a lot of their possession was in their own defensive third here. Couldn't really get forward. And again, as you can see, not much in going forward when in possession. So, yeah, a good day at the office for Rovers. A hard shift at the office as well, coming from behind. Monumental as well. Let's take a look then at the shot map, as you get, or the shot grid. As you see, we are the orange. Pepperham couple of long shots, quite a few long shots as well. As for Oxford, yep, pretty much central with most of their shots. Joe Rankin still chipping in with 4 efforts, done with 3. Tronstad with a couple as well. Wyman and Gay from the bench. As for Oxford, the main mans seem to be Harris, Goodman, Mazzuni, and Phillips with the most efforts on the day. Kioso again proved to be quite a handful down that back end, that right back slot. Lost possession 24 times. Rovers caught offside 3 times as well. And again, aerial duels were not a good day at the office. They had more touches than we did, more passes than we did. But hey, at the end of the day, we got the result. That is correct. Let's take a look at what's going on social media then, shall we? Okay, Tommy Briggs said, great result and a much better performance in the second half. Deserved the 3 points in the end. Oxford looked a good team defensively. Needed that little bit of quality to nick it today. Siggy found it. Eustace Super Subs do it again. On to the big one. That's Blackpool this coming Tuesday night. Siggy has to start every game in this football club. Not many years ago, he destroyed Real Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu in the Champions League. Meanwhile, 10th Hokachi says Ziggy deserves more respect. Chris Lindra said, great win, fantastic to see us scoring late goals again when needed and the whole squad playing a part. Scott Cameron says, buzzing for Ziggy. Anthony says, and some fans thinks he's shit. Now let's go and improve in the local derbies as we have terrible for a while now. Does not matter how you win as long as you win. Rovers. Mr. Nobody said, well done boys, solid start to the season. Who's next? Blackpool are next. Just remember that. Blackpool are next. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Meanwhile, Carl Wicks, great win, scrappy in places. Travis was shocking today. Ziggy needs to start over Hedges. What is he talking about? And Buckley deserves a chance over Trav, in my opinion. Eustace needs to start dropping players when they aren't playing well. Anyway, 3 points is all that matters. Let me just go big screen here. I think you might be. I think Hedges should be dropped. In all honesty, hey, it's just my personal opinion. I think you got your own opinion. You got my opinion. Let's mix it up a little bit in the cup, shall we, and see who can it's a team effort. Some people will play some people will play the others. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Hedges may have had a bit of an off day, but he's a game changer when he's on it. Thomas Muncaster said, used to do a great job with the subs, changed the game, bringing them on when he did. Coach Steve, refreshing down a bench as a genuinely positive impact game after game. Big week coming up to bring in more depth for a proper push this season. Bano finally can bring players off the bench to change the game, get 1 or 2 in this week. And go and beat that lot next week. T says, looking good so far. Early days, but showing promise. Lewis T. Hartley says, the stadium light isn't for everyone. That's a little bit of a dig elsewhere. And of course, let's talk a little bit about that. A little bit of that dig, shall we? Because, quick roundup of the championship, as you can see, the results are in. The only game that hasn't been played is that all-Welsh affair, which is Swansea against Cardiff. That'll be played tomorrow in Wales. But it all kicked off on Friday night with Wednesday losing at home to Leeds. Hull City and Millwall could not be separated. Neither could be Bristol City or Coventry or QPR and Plymouth. But wins for Watford, Rovers, West Brom, Preston, Sunderland, of course, were great results there, but draws again for Norwich and Middlesbrough. And the table, as you like it. Take a picture, take a selfie, however you want to look at it. It is looking like this. Rovers are interred in the table. Alright. How'd you like that, Apples? And if we draw this coming Saturday, we will be ahead of Burnley heading into the international break. But that's, of course, a lot to be said. And the worst place we could be at the end of next week's match will be 8th. And you know what? That ain't too shabby at this part of the season. Speaking of next week, these are the games, as you see. Luton Town will kick us all off on Friday, and they'll head into the international break nice and early. We'll be right behind them, alongside Burnley as well. Cardiff against Borough, Coventry against Norwich. Then it'll be the normal 3 o'clock games. Millwall Wednesday, West Brom Swansea. We have Portsmouth Sunderland. That'll be a bit of a ding-dong. Leeds United against Hull City. Plymouth against Stoke, Schumacher Derby right there, Oxford United against Preston, Derby against Bristol City, and then Sheffield United against Watford. For me, though, it's not Firmino, but for me, though, a solid result for Rovers. Yes, we should be winning our home games, and but that's more usually been harder than it's been. We've been able to do so over the past couple of seasons. We've made Ewood a bit of a stomping ground for others. Past couple of seasons. So good to see us back-to-back wins. Yes, people will say that, it's only Derby, it's only Oxford, but, Derby have beaten Middlesbrough so far this season. Oxford have beaten Norwich this season. So they ain't no slouches. They're here to make some points and get some points as well. So we can only win what's in front of us and only, play as we have done. So I'm happy. I'm content with the result. I think 2-1 win, it's great. And again, showing some fight, showing some spark, some determination. And again, impact players on the bench. We do need to see more depth. When we look at this cup game coming up on Tuesday, we can't really put too much real rotation into the squad. There's no backup goalkeeper, to be honest with you. I think if we put one of our reserve goalkeepers in, we're going to be found out. And then realistically, we're playing the same sort of, playing Can't really mix up the right backs or left backs. It's quite threadbare in certain spots. So hopefully Eustace gets his wish and gets to spend a bit of cash and maybe bring in a couple of players on permanent additions. We'll see. But that's, of course, to be had. Until then, though, subscribe, smash the like, catch you later. But until then, we are donezoed.